Hi, this is Ashish R. Bidekar and welcome to my podcast, The ARB Show. I'm thrilled to introduce today's guest, Vineet. Vineet is a seasoned community strategist and a visionary founder of Win, Eat, Repeat. Vineet has dedicated his career to helping businesses scale through the power of community building and growth consulting. With extensive experience as a Meta certified community manager and leadership roles at organizations like 91 Springboard, MTV Labs, Vineet has become a trusted name in the community building ecosystem. Vineet also works with VC funds, growth funds, and legacy businesses and guides them on their community initiatives. Thank you, Vineet, for being a guest on the show. I look forward to hearing your insights on the top 5 tips for building communities. Or maybe you can also start with how you thought of focusing on community building as a career. Over to you, Vineet.
Yeah. Thank you, Ashish, for having me as a guest on your podcast. And it's always exciting to talk about community and community as a business strategy for growth. I became a community builder by an accident because the co-founder of 91 Springboard, Mr. Varun Chawla, reached out to me 10 years ago, stating that we are looking for a strong operations people to join our organization as it is growing very fast. So I was pretty excited that how can a founder reach out to somebody and ask about it. He offered me the role of to interview for the community manager position. The interview went on for 2 months, 7 rounds of telephonic interviews, followed by 15-day on-the-job interview, and I became a community manager. I had no clue 10 years ago what would the life of a community manager entail. However, that was a turning point in my career because I loved working with entrepreneurs and startups. And as a community manager, I was able to interact with every stakeholder of the startup ecosystem. Post 91 Springboard, my friend Rohit, who co-founded MTW Labs, took me on board as head partnerships and community. So that is where the role grew, and I was part of helping the organization grow with the power of community. We decided to shut down MTW Labs in March 2020 for a simple reason that there was significant debt lining up and the business was not able to scale. During that time, I look back at my career and I saw that I love building communities. I have seen companies scale with it. Why not become a community strategy consultant and help companies integrate community as a business strategy for growth? So, in my last 5 years as a consultant, I have worked with VC funds, growth stage companies, and legacy businesses to help them scale with community, as well as other community builders to give them the what you call strategic insights on how they can transform and grow their communities as well for the purpose what they have started.
Fantastic, fantastic. And if you, while you were saying this, I kind of stepped back and tried to identify which are the communities which typically you find all around us. So, of course, you have got, when you talk of cult brands, for example, people who use those cult brands form a kind of community, right? For example, Apple enthusiast could be one kind of a group. Or if you look at, say, sports fans, right? They are a community in itself. So similarly, I'm very eager to hear from you on various uses of communities and how they can really help in this technology world. For example, one thing which you always hear is developer community, right? Because most of the technology consumption is platforms via APIs or SDKs, and you really need a vibrant community to kind of build things together. So really looking to understand from you. So take it away with it.
Sure, Ashish, I will be happy to share my knowledge and contribution to this show and see how this entire conversation spans out.
So what's the first topic you would like to cover? What are the first tips which comes to your mind on when you say communities? Maybe let's start there. That's the first tip which you would like to share.
Great. So, Ashish, as human beings, we have been part of community since time immemorial. Right from the Stone Age days when we came together to, hunt, gather food, and grow the family. All right. Now, the fact is because at the core of the community is people. All right. And people define everything. So that is the fundamental of what we say community. Now when we are talking about community in the business sense, because I get a lot of questions around, oh, you are a community builder, so you do NGO work and CSR activities. While that could be 1 or 2 or 10% of what I do, however, I what I do is I help companies integrate community as a business strategy for growth. How it happens? So there are 5 key stakeholders in any business, which is infrastructure, service providers, networks, knowledge, and capital. The way I define community as a place or space where you get stakeholders of the business onto one place, figure out the way where they start talking to each other. And when they start talking to each other, that is where magic starts to happen. All right. The product adoption is more, the customer success, what do you call, the customer support cost reduces. There are joint ventures which come into place. You get market intelligence, and moreover, you are able to institutionalize word of mouth. So these are, a couple of things which is common to every industry. So when somebody says that, Vinny, do you do tech stuff or non-tech stuff? I'm like, the strategy stuff, what I do is industry agnostic, because as a principle, this can be integrated into any industry.
True, true.
Because
And
it is all about creating value and
true,
belongingness
true.
at the core of it.
And other way also to look at this is, community or any business is not a one-way street, right? Wherein the manufacturer, the brand is selling their products, and that's the end of it. Never happens correctly, right? So enthusiastic people who share the same passion for the brand or the same values, etc., trying to congregate together. I mean, we have the famous saying, right? Birds of the same feather flock together. So that's the kind of a basis for community. And another thing, I think, as you rightly mentioned, that even in our daily life, for example, we would look at the wisdom of the crowd in some way, right? Or for example, if we have a specific thing, we would ask for referrals, right? Referral is nothing but a way of community building, right? Because people with a shared interest, they kind of share some snippet of information, and then that kind of top product or service rises to the top, and then that's how people discover. So what you said, right, is is perfectly clear when you say why. Start with the why. Similar to the classical Simon Sinek saying that start with the why, because that's the foundation for anything you do.
100% true. I mean, the first thing of any organization or an individual who is looking to build a community, you should have a why in place. Why are you building it? If the why is very transactional, it is going to flop. If the why is very, what do you call, strong, and it connects with the people, the opportunities are humongous.
Right, right. So here just a slight digression, but I think it's important for the audience to also know. Many a times CEOs or board, etc., they get into this trap of what many people call as an innovation circus, right? For example, they'll say, "Oh, we want to be seen as innovative." So what do? We take a trip to Silicon Valley. We attend a few hackathons, and behold, now we are certified innovative. However, when you ask that, okay, you feel communities are good, but that would require a significant amount of investment, right? In terms of time, executive bandwidth, resources, etc. And like any business or any new initiative, it's not going to be an instant results. So how do you, when you say why do you want to build it, can you share some tips as to when CXOs or business leaders, they say they're interested in community building, but they need to consider these aspects as well. It would be really good to have your insights on that.
Yeah, thank you, Ashish, for exactly pointing it out. So understand this, that it takes 6 months to 2 years to build the community. The reason is pretty straight, is because at the end of it, it is human to human connection, and it takes that time to build the trust and belongingness. That is the core of it. All right, when the CXO or the business leader, they have seen that communities are working for other brands, organization, as well as industry, from the industry colleagues. All right, they say, oh, if community has done wonders for them, they will do wonders for us as well. While the thought process is amazing, but what they fail to realize is that the time and effort, the resources which needs to be invested over a period of time to understand what is being derived out of it. So if the patience is not there and you are curtailing the investment after a quarter or 2 quarters, stating that it is not moving forward, trust me, it is a sign of disaster. And this has happened multiple times in my consulting journey as well. All right, a couple of consulting projects have come to a halt after 3 months because the business leader says, oh, Vineet, it is not working for us, we are not getting business leads. So that is not the case. Point number one. Point number two, understand this, that while you are building a community, it is also a gray area for organizations. The reason it is a gray area because the enthusiast of your stakeholders, all right, need not be on your payroll. They need not have signed the vendor partner agreement. There would be ideally no legal entity which will actually help hold them accountable to what they do as a brand. Point number one. However, let me give example of Lego. All right, all of us have played Legos from our childhood, and it has been around for good 70-75 years. So what was happening was the Lego was going to hit bankruptcy because Mattel and other toy companies had taken over. So what Lego decided is like they tapped into community of its fans, and they are like, okay, you love Lego, tell us what to do. Now I have played with Lego, I will use Lego's name, I will use Lego's IP, including logo and whatever is there, to say that this is what I have made. So the the community consultant who came on board for Lego, Jack McKee, they said that, okay, why don't we create a clear-cut guidelines on how the customers or enthusiasts can start using it, and there will be minimum legal repercussions because essentially they are showing how to do it. Point number one. Point number two, what they did is they created a platform and they invited enthusiasts to give suggestions of what all sets Lego can make, and the idea was put online. Any set which received more than 100,000 votes went ahead to be built, and that is how Lego piano, women in NASA and other sets came into place. Additionally, they also shared some part of the royalty with the person whose idea was selected to be made into set. Now just imagine, by tapping into the power of community, Lego was able to revive itself. So the point is, it takes that trust and belongingness to actually build it.
True. And in fact, on the same point, it also means that you merge two communities together. For example, you've got the Lego community. You also have fans of, let's say, Lord of the Rings or fans of Star Wars. And then you create a product for them, right? Now, when these two communities meet, it's kind of magic, right? Plus, there would be more and new ideas that will come up, right? And for example, if you look at the Lego movies, right? They are no one would have thought like a toy company would be making movies for the Lego movie. So it's amazing.
So it is a joke which goes around in the circles, and I'm sure I'm not offending anybody. So essentially, what we say is like Lego is a Lego movie is a 3-hour marketing campaign of the company Lego. But the point is, it does not look like a marketing campaign. It looks like entertainment, and like, yeah, oh, I believe in this, and how lovely, how amazing to look at it, watch it, and enjoy it.
Right,
kids
right,
and
right. Cool. So maybe just coming back to the discussion. So what is, in your view, the second tip which you would like to share?
So the second tip is, what is the value the members and stakeholders who are going to get? As simple as that. So for example, moving away from Lego, what I say is community institutionalizes word of mouth. So as you said, there are Apple fans, there are Royal Enfield riders, and any enthusiast who loves the brand, they become part of the community. So that is a very amazing, I would say, the thread which goes through. So at the end of it, like if I am very excited about the brand, the product which they are making, the way it has to be used, multiple purposes, so on and so forth, and if I am able to pass on the same enthusiasm to the other folks who are exploring it, understanding what is going on, and seeing what can be done, that is that is the value which is created. Because understand this, that every human being essentially is different. They have their own what you call journey, the kind of experiences they have been through, the kind of exposure they have got, where they stay, what they do, work, and from different economic strata. But what happens is when you come together for a particular purpose, I mean you are excited about particular thing, all right, people simply congregate, and that entire I belong from so and so category, or I am part of so and I am part of so and so place in the world, and this is what I do and other things, it simply vanishes away. When you are there, you are the one who is exchanging the enthusiasm, and that energy is electric and eclectic.
Yeah.
So what organizations have to do, they have to enable those things.
True.
And that is what is the value you are creating for users. Let them come to you and say that this is how we have integrated and built things with you.
True. I mean, having built and managed community programs from a technology perspective, I can very well relate to what you are saying. In a technology platform, the objectives are very clear. For example, you've got a hardware, people are interested in building stuff on hardware projects. Then you have got the kind of developer program with all the necessary tools, the whole whole 360-degree perspective, which will help them to build their products faster, right? Then you will also have maybe a kind of a questions or community on the portal, right, which helps you to kind of get faster. How would you describe the objectives or motivations for folks who are part of, let's say, pseudo-anonymous groups like say Reddit, right, or let's say 4chan, or let's say Quora, right? That's again very, very vibrant communities, but there's no direct commercial focus. It's more of a knowledge perspective. At the same time, right, the members are not getting any monetary benefits, right? They'll get some information hacks, or they'll satisfy their inner nerd, but apart from that, there's nothing they get. Extension of this is LinkedIn, right, wherein you are actually paying, you are ready to pay a premium to get some special features which will help you to interact with other community members in a big way. So how do you make this distinction?
Okay, so before answering the question, let me add the technology platform piece. So the whole idea of a technology platform to build a community is because the member should be able to use it better, build over it, and the partner should be able to sell it better. And this is the basic for anything. Use it better, build over it, sell it better, and obviously what will happen is product adoption and other things are improving and increasing, and so on and so forth. When you went on to talking about the cult platforms like Reddit, Quora, 4chan, and so. So let me give you the example of Notion. Now Reddit has a very strong, I would say, trust and safety philosophy. You cannot sell anything on Reddit. People come over and they have interesting conversations and discussion, and whatever you are part of, you are invested in it. Like for example, my friend, he is a Potterhead, and he is part of a couple of Reddit Harry Potter fans story. Additionally, there are tech enthusiasts, and there are plethora of discussions which are going on the platform. So what that platform as Reddit or Quora they are doing is like they are trying to enable those conversations over a digital platform, over the internet, because we as human beings, we really want to connect with each other, and these are the interesting discussions where you get nerdy feely about it. Let me give you the example of Notion. So as Reddit has an amazing trust and safety feature, you cannot sell anything. So what Notion did is they started a subreddit about Notion, All right. The whole idea was anybody who was using Notion, they were saying, how do you use it better? What are the templates which you can create on it? What is Notion solving for it? Now, just imagine Notion went ahead to actually what you call counter the legacy businesses of the tech world, right? I mean, why do you want a CRM when you can build it on your own? It is a low code tool, so you don't need to get into those deep dive conversations in terms of what exactly would you pay. MS Excel is doing the job, but what do you call not very user friendly, something like that. Evernote was a note taker, and it was totally integrated. Now when you see the feature requests which are coming in, people are building templates and selling the templates of Notion. So the product adoption has improved and increased manifold. All right, and that need not necessarily be with Notion. I have been part of couple of subreddits for the community builders and community, where they are discussing how do we put forward our case to the decision makers of the businesses to help them understand that you really need to invest in time and resources to nurture the community, which over a period of time will tell you how exactly the product will shape and evolve, and it should not become a sales platform per se.
Got it. Got
so
it.
so so it's a very broad thing to look at, and there are anonymous contributors as well. If I'm deriving value out of it, I'll figure out a way to contribute back to the ecosystem.
Sorry, these are very interesting recommendations and observations. So Notion is a master class in itself. Other thing which I'd also like to say is one is of course the product features. Also, it is building moats, right? Because one is if you have to look at just a note-taking platform, and if there are enough and more community around that specific product, right? When any company is going to take a decision, I'm sure there would be a lot of enthusiasts in a company, right, which is deciding to invest anything. They'll say, oh, let's use Notion because anyway we are using it in our personal project. So the switch from a personal use to a enterprise use is just a switch of a button, right? So that's one way of looking at it. Other thing is, if just like Notion or any of these digital products, it is helping to one maybe do lots of beta testing, right? For example, this is a new product, new build. Tell us what you want to do. So faster go to market, all those aspects are there as well. It's very fascinating. So what are the rest of the tips or observations you would like to share?
So what is it that you are going to stakeholders for is what we created. The the third piece I would say is the experiences. As simple as that. I really want to experience it. We really want to experience how the brand and the product will actually impact my life in the long run. As simple as that. So I'm a long distance marathon runner. All right, and to prepare, and I've been doing it for last 16-17 years. So it started as a way to be healthy, and now it has become part of my lifestyle, where I run 1 to 2 amazing runs in a year to just keep myself fit and active. Now when you look at health and fitness, everybody who's got into running or taken up any of the fitness activity is because at some point of time in their life their health was a disaster and they decided to take charge of it. All right, so let me give you an example of Adidas runners. All right, during I believe the 2012-2015 time, the market share of Adidas in the Berlin market was going down. Nike had taken over, and it was at the brink of losing its market share. So the radical thing what the Adidas decided to do with a suggestion is to get the community thing on board. So Yusuf, who started the community at Adidas Runners, he started with a very simple thing in Berlin. In the morning, come for health, do the exercises, go for a run, meet with like-minded people, and that's it. All right, he started, so it was Berlin Runners. It went on to a couple of places in Berlin, and then it started to expand when Berlin Runners became Adidas Runners. So essentially, anybody could become part of Adidas Runners. B, you don't need to own an Adidas merchandise to be part of Adidas runners. So what happened is when the members who were part of this running journey, they came for help, they met the like-minded people, things started to evolve, the value proposition which was coming out, it was wow, and it is so much amazing. And what happened is, now when they had to purchase any of the running merchandise or product, they by default went to Adidas and they said that, okay, why not we purchase the Adidas shoes, why don't we purchase the Adidas merchandise? All right, and that is exactly then the playbook came into place. It expanded from Germany to Europe to multiple what do you call countries across the world, and there are chapters in multiple cities, which is
Got
very
it.
unique and interesting to that specific part of the city. All right.
Got it.
And since I did a case study on Adidas runners, I use Adidas runners app to track my running thing, and once in a while I do go ahead and purchase Adidas shoes as well.
Got it.
Very simply put. No, I'm not endorsing it, but the fact is, if the value is being derived, might as well give it back. Now,
True.
looking at this, all the other running apparels and brand companies, they also started their running community. Most of them have not been able to reach to the fact place where Adidas has reached, I would say.
Yeah, because I guess there's a law of accelerating returns, because after a certain point of time, yeah, the gap becomes very, very difficult to kind of bridge. Another aspect which I think the audience should also reflect is, when you talk of communities, it's not only for a B2C kind of play, it's equally applicable in B2B. And as you have rightly clarified at the starting, it's something which should be there as a part of any business, right? So that's one point. Another aspect is, why leaders should look at community in that way, is it also solves the initial customer onboarding challenges and customer discovery challenges, right? Because everything is digital, everything is there, and it's easy to do, right? For example, coming back to the Notion perspective, let's say there is someone in, let's say, healthcare or a hospital chain is now looking to explore something, right? And then someone say, hey, why don't you look at Notion? Now, if there was no community or there was no specific thing, now it becomes an extremely difficult and a complex charge or complex thing for the healthcare chain or the hospital, etc., to describe its problem and then ask Notion to kind of give a solution, right? A classical, give us your requirement, we'll come back to you with a proposal, right? However, because of this whole interplay with community, etc., probably there are folks who have already created Notion templates for healthcare or for hospitals for that specific use case, which when they go, they'll say, oh, this is exactly what I'm looking at, right? Or even if it is 80% good, that's good enough to get started. So from kind of demystifying technology, product, closing the gap, I think that also plays a very important role per se, is my view.
I will add one more point to it.
Yeah.
Since you are a business person and so am I, both of us will agree with one point, that inbound leads are better than outbound leads.
Yeah.
Let us accept it hands down. So what happens is, what is an inbound lead? Somebody has discovered you online, or somebody has referred this specific thing to you. What do? You get curious, you go ahead and search it online, you look at product reviews, you look at interviews, you look at how people are using it. So 80% of the time you are convinced that you will go ahead and purchase the product. So when you are actually going to the business and saying that I really want to explore it, you are sold on the product. It is just the final 20% of the discussion, negotiation on how do we start it.
Got it.
So it is never about, please go ahead and use the product. It's like, I am sold that I'll be using this. Now you tell me, how do I use it better?
Exactly. So cool. So I think we are running out of time. So let's focus on the last two points which you would like to share. Yeah.
So the fourth point is, invest time, consistently add value, and let it seep with the purpose. All right. So I'll tell you, when I joined as community manager with 91 Springboard, it is a co-working space where you give monthly membership fee on a per desk basis to SMEs, startups, entrepreneurs, freelancers. All right. It is a flexi office seating. What innovation can you do? So what 91 Springboard did is like, we are creating an entire ecosystem around you. You don't have to work alone in a cafe or something. You get the like-minded people out there. And there is value exchange. There were events which were done where members used to meet each other. Uh, the cost of running the office was simply outsourced to us. It's like, you focus on your business, let us focus on your work. Now that value was so amazing that we have had cases where the members, they left one organization, they decided to start something, moved from Delhi to Bangalore or Mumbai to Hyderabad, and the first thing which came to their mind while they were looking out for office space was 91 Springboard. They simply gave a call and they walked in. Now just imagine, even without me putting in a specific thing, the value and the experience which we created, the members simply came back. And that is the same case with every community, every ecosystem per se. All right, we love the experience so much that we are I mean, the members are coming back. There are referrals which are being generated, and the word of mouth is being institutionalized. So as simple as that, once you start investing in, the word of mouth comes into place. Now the community is not an what do you call independent entity in itself. All right, communities are also combinations of multiple communities. I am excited about something, I am interested in something, and then we together place it and build something new. So it is a very fluid thing which flows through and through.
True, very true. Excellent. What would be your final point which you would like to share on community?
So Ashish, I have created this equation which says people plus purpose plus guidelines equal to community building plus growth. All right. So when you get people together for a particular purpose, you create a guidelines where they start talking to each other. Community building happens, and that is where the growth is a byproduct. So the whole idea is that every successful community, what we are seeing today, which is adding value to a person's life as well as businesses top line and bottom line, in terms of reducing the churn rate, increasing the customer lifetime value, improving the product adoption, so on and so forth. An active thought process has been put onto it. There is somebody who has backed the innovation and experimentation piece. They are willing to take in that value proposition, and after 6 months of actually creating the value, when members are looking at it that they are not selling me anything, they are looking at actually creating something which is interesting and new, that is where the magic is. So every successful community is being nurtured over the years, and you have to nurture it well to make sure that it is giving you the value.
Fantastic. Thanks, Vineet. This gives a great perspective, and thank you, dear listeners, for tuning in. Do subscribe, share, and like this podcast. Consider giving us a 5-star rating if you like the content. Bye for now. Talk to you soon.